Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Children's Church. I'm so glad to have you here with me. And this month is August, and August is all about attitude. Last week we talked about the be attitudes, and now we're going to talk about some be not attitudes. These are not things we want to be. This is an attitude of grumbling and whining. So we're in Exodus chapter 17. And we're talking about our man Moses after they had left Egypt. The entire Israelite community left the wilderness of sin, moving from one place to the next according to the Lord's command. They camped at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. So the people complained to Moses, "Give us water to drink." "Why are you complaining to me?" Moses replied. "Why are you testing the Lord?" But the people thirsted there for water and grumbled against Moses. They said, "Why did you ever bring us out of Egypt to kill us and our children with thirst?" I'm going to remind you that they were enslaved in Egypt. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, "What should I do with these people? In a little while they will stone me." That's a bit much, guys. I mean, yes, okay, being thirsty in the desert is a big deal, but still. Called down 10 plagues. You're really going to be that upset? The Lord answered Moses, "Go on ahead of the people and take some of the elders of Israel with you. Take the staff you struck the Nile with in your hand and go. I'm going to stand there in front of you on the rock at Horeb. When you hit the rock, water will come out and people will drink." Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel. He named the place Massah and Meribah because the Israelites complained because they tested the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" That's a dangerous thing to say. There's a fair amount of rules in the Bible. Most of them you can boil down to the top 10. But if there's one thing that's repeated over and over again, it's do not test the Lord your God. I think I might be being a little hard on them. I've never been in a desert. I've never been in a situation where I was thirsty and couldn't get a drink. So maybe I'm being a little too hard on them, but it just stuns me that these people lived through the 10 plagues and the sea parting before them, and then we're like, God's going to leave us to die in the desert with no water. Like, how do you get to that conclusion after everything you've seen? How do you get to that conclusion? And the answer is they had a bad attitude. They didn't have an attitude of thankfulness for all that God had done before. They didn't have an attitude of faith for what God would do next. They had an attitude of fear and an attitude of grumbling. And none of those are really great things, but they're especially bad things on a big trip. I don't know if you guys have been on a long family car trip, but we all know who the whiner is, and we all know they make the car so much worse. You need to have everyone in the same attitude, going to the same place to have a good trip. So, okay, I told you about their attitude and why it was wrong. I should probably tell you how to fix it, right? So, the attitude they had was one of fear. Fear is natural, it's normal, it can still sometimes be our enemy because there's rational fear and irrational fear. I'm not saying it was irrational to be afraid in the desert. I'm saying if God led you out into the desert, I don't think you have something to fear. Sometimes you have to give yourself that talk. Sometimes God has to bring out water from a rock to go, "Hey, I've got this." Now, I don't think I need to tell you guys that. You know these stories very well. You know a lot of things. But what about the way they talked to Moses? I think we all know, "Did you bring us out here just to die of thirst?" is a little bit much. So what do we do when we feel the need to say something like that? We're going to take a breath, and we're going to think of how to speak to the people around us with love, with patience, and kindness. Those are 3 of the fruit of the Spirit, and we're not talking about those this week. We will talk about them later this month. but try to remember to speak with love, with patience, with kindness, even when it's hard. And you will mess up, because all humans do. Everyone messes that up. And then you have to remember to apologize with love, patience, kindness, and humility. When you mess up, you take responsibility for it and you apologize. So that's how we fix the bad attitudes that we see in Exodus 17. Love, patience, kindness, and humility. And those aren't always fun things to practice, especially the last one. But I'm going to teach you guys this now so you don't have to learn it when you're adults. I hope you guys have a really good week. Keep in mind our attitude, our words, and just have a really lovely time. Enjoy the sun. See you guys next week.